Hey, what's up guys? It's Bradley here with the new John Deere Z515E. Z is the zero turn model, and just want to go over some of the things I found in my research and in purchasing this new zero turn. Been living on a much smaller plot and had just a push mower, so decided with this bigger lot it was time to upgrade and figured I'd do a review of this thing as I just got it. Took delivery the other day and the grass is starting to grow. So as you can see here, we've got our LED display with the key off. Still even shows the hours there, and the fuel should be on there as well. This mower's got the 54-inch deck. I heard the 48 didn't quite cover the tires, so as your tire tracks go, as you mow, you kind of want to cover over them, so it just makes a cleaner looking cut. This model does come with the Briggs & Stratton 24 horsepower V-twin. It's called ELS, extended. It's like a long-lasting ELS stands for, so I'm not sure what it stands for exactly, but it's the M44 V-twin by Briggs & Stratton. So it's supposed to be a pretty good motor. I went with the 500 series over the 300 just based on reliability reviews, even though I don't have a huge lot. I definitely want something that's going to last a long time. So I went ahead and sprung for the base model, the 515E of the 500 series zero turns. I've got an acre here. I'm hoping to be doing my mowing regularly in about a half hour with this machine. So just to go over the mower itself, obviously you got the rollover protection system on there, so that comes standard on the 500 series and up. This one's got the 18-inch seat, which is pretty comfortable. I've driven a couple of zero turns in my time. My parents used to have some acreage and I would mow pretty regularly there, so this has the armrests and everything, so it's pretty comfortable from what I've ridden so far, which was just from the street where I took delivery up to the house. So this does have an 8-mile-an-hour top speed, which I hit out there on the street. It's definitely super smooth. Just the controls and the hydros, really smooth. This model's got the Excel Deep deck, which is not the commercial grade one. The commercial grade's like extra deep if you're mowing some really deep, tall grass, regularly fields that have been maybe neglected a little bit or just they don't get mowed regularly. That commercial deck is better for that application. But if you just got a residential lawn and you're just looking to maintain it, I don't see any reason to go with anything more extreme than the Excel Deep deck. It does have like a mulch control kit you can get for it, which I think just mulches the clippings even finer than this currently cuts them, which may or may not help them decompose throughout the lawn. If you've got, I guess, an issue with thatch, maybe that'd be useful, but I don't plan on letting mine get very long. And it said if you do let it get very long anyway, you're gonna want to turn that off. From the research I did, if your lawn's real tall, you don't want to try to mow it with that mulch control on, because it will clump and it's not gonna, you need to just discharge and then maybe try to mulch only when you're just maintaining your lawn. So that's the basics of the mulch control. Now this one does have a 4.5 gallon gas tank, so that's going to be not quite as fuel efficient as the EFI model they've got, but that one's quite a bit more expensive. It's not really necessary for just a residential application. So I went ahead and just got the base model here with the standard carbureted engine. But the 4.5 gallons, if you're used to a push mower, which I had before, I didn't use 4.5 gallons in a whole year with a Toro Time Master. Over the past couple years that I've been mowing, push mowing, I had like a 1/4 acre lot. It was a pretty small yard, so I did not use hardly any gas, and my gas tank was full like all year, and then I just filled it up for this year and emptied it all at once into this gas tank before I got started here for the year. So it's going to be a different animal fuel consumption, but that's all right. We got some land here and I knew it was going to take some fuel to power this machine, but I don't think it's too bad. The other thing is there's an LED light kit that you can get for this mower. I didn't get it because it didn't come with this model. You attach it right here in the front. As you can see, there are some places right here where you can attach the LED kit if you want a spring for that. It's a couple $100. I don't know that I'm gonna really need it, at least not at first. I definitely am not planning on using it or needing it with what I'm gonna need, which is just to quickly mow my lawn weekly throughout the grass mowing season in Ohio, which is about 6 months. So this should more than get the job done. And the sunlight hours here in Ohio in the summer, I mean, the sun doesn't go down till, 10 p.m. in the summer and the summer solstice. So I think this will get the job done. If you like this review, feel free to like this video. I will be going ahead and breaking it in right now, and I might come back and do a follow-up here shortly. One thing I will say is the brake here is it's got to be down for you to move the mower. If you turn it on, you sit down, turn it on, you go ahead and drop this down so you can go, and then you can move the controls in. If you do not do that, it is a kill switch and it'll just cut it down. I will go over the deck here real quick. The adjustments are really cool. So this can go down to 1 inch cut height, which is useful if you've got a really low cut that you want to put on a very flat piece of land. If you're growing some different varieties, I'm probably going to go with a tall fescue overseed in my front yard, and then in the back I might do something that would be a little shorter, a little more showy, a little more maintenance. But for what I need, this is going to be awesome because it's going to be able to cut it down as low as I could possibly want, which would be 1 inch. I'd really not planning on cutting anything below 1 inch. I know some people with their lawns like to keep it looking like carpet, and that's cool. This will take it down pretty far. So to set that is pretty simple. You simply use the pedal there, push down, it lifts this up, and this is magnetic. You just drop it right on in. Wherever you want to set it. It's pretty convenient. It goes up to 4 inches in height, which a nice tall fescue lawn, I think 3.5 to 4 inches. I honestly don't mind a long, clean cut lawn that's trimmed. I think it looks pretty sharp. That's what I had at my other property. I had it cut as high as that Time Master would cut. So looking forward to seeing how this will go. Obviously the grass isn't really growing yet, but it's greening up. It's about 70 today, so it's going to be growing pretty soon here. This is just a basic choke and throttle, and it was kind of cold when I started this, and I did choke it. It started right up. Definitely no issue there. Not sure if the choke's going to be required once it's warm out. I'm not even sure if it would have been required today if I would have tried to start it without the choke, but I'm just used to an engine that you got to choke it when you first turn it on when it's cold, so I did that and it fired right up, so no issue there. I'm looking forward to mowing with this beast real soon. One other thing I will say, on the back here you got a place for a tow hitch. I think it hooks in right here and here, and there's also like a bumper that goes on here, a bracket. It looks pretty sharp, and I definitely want to get that because what it does is allows your tow hitch to hook on not only here but also up on that bracket, so it's hooked onto the frame and onto the bumper, so both here and then at the top. So when I'm hooking up I'm going to get probably a trailer, like a small wagon. I'll be able to haul that around fairly easily with that on there and put a significant amount of weight. If I want to fill it with dirt, fill up some of these big craters I've got where there used to be trees in this lawn, I could do that fairly simply with a large wagon. So I want to have a tow hitch that's going to be pretty sturdy. I looked at the weight ratings on the tow hitch, and yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to go over that, but it's possible. So we'll see how it holds up. Not foreseeing any issues, but I'll definitely post an update if I am finding any issues. All right, guys, so it's dirty now. Just mowed the lawn here for the first time. Interestingly, the LED hour light still hasn't turned over yet to show a 1/10 of an hour on it, which is interesting to me. I guess maybe it's so new the guys at John Deere just set it to where you don't have to kick over that first 1/10 of an hour for maybe an hour or something. I'm not sure why that's not turned over, but driving impressions so far, it rides really smooth. The hydraulics are fantastic, real tight with the controls. I put the ropes down because I had some low hanging limbs, and honestly I don't even know if I'll mow with it up most of the time because I've got a super flat lawn, but I guess it does kind of fall off there towards the edge, so maybe, I don't know, have to think about that, because I guess I could see myself getting into trouble if I'm not careful, but I've got a decent amount of experience with riding mowers, with not only riding mowers, but also zero turns. This is way better than a tractor style mower, just a regular riding lawnmower, which I know a lot of people use those, and I've used them for a long time. And yeah, after I tried one of these, I really have a hard time going back. I know they're a little bit cheaper, probably less costly to maintain, but the experience of being able to hit a zero turn, especially when you're mowing like this, where you're turning literally everywhere you go, and my backyard's also pretty tight. This is really clutch to be able to just turn on a dime, as long as you know how to do it without tearing the lawn up, which is not that hard after you've been doing it for a little while. So the Z-Track is really smooth. One thing I will say is the mulching. Yeah, it does not mulch like I don't consider at all without that mulching kit in there. It pretty much just discharges it, which is fine. I guess that's what it's advertised, not a mulching deck here. But once you set that mulching kit in there, hopefully it'll mulch a little finer. I guess I'm just used to a mulching deck with the last setup I had, and I just noticed that, I don't really care that my grass clippings get cut up very finely to biodegrade into the lawn, but mostly like I got a lot of trees and there's a lot of leaves, and I would just prefer them to get ground up a little more. I know next season, hopefully I won't have as much of an issue, because all last season I did not have a lawnmower and it was not fun. I just had the push mower. So I didn't really have a great way to just get rid of all the leaves and a fairly large lawn. I had some other things going on, so it was a low priority. But I'd say that maybe that mulch control kit would help. And then obviously if I want to go all out and get the bagging kit, I think that was at least $1,000 worth of equipment to put that bagger on the back and the discharge. So that's a maybe. I really wasn't planning on doing that. I think that's overkill. I don't mind leaving the clippings on the lawn, but I do wish that it ground up maybe some of this leaf foliage a little better. But otherwise, I mean, it drove really smooth. The seat is the 18-inch seat, which I thought was plenty big enough. I don't know, I'm not like a humongous person. I don't need the 20 or 22-inch seat that the bigger models have. The armrests, honestly, I thought were even up a little high for me. When I had these up and I was doing the controls, I noticed that my elbow, yeah, it's not really sitting on this and doing this at the same time. So I just flipped them up, I feel like that was more comfortable for me. So that's what I did. I have no idea how much gas it used. It only took me maybe, about 30 minutes, and I took my time. This is the visual gas gauge, which I guess it's still pretty full, probably. 4.5 gallons in there. I doubt I used that much. As you can see, I still got the plastic on there from where this thing came from the factory, so definitely broke it in today, and hopefully this video helped some of you guys maybe make a decision as to whether or not you're interested in the Z515E. I think it's a great machine for, I think it's rated, John Deere says you got around 5 acres, you'll be pretty happy with this. I would say so. I mean, I've driven some zero turns and mowed 5 acres for many years when I was growing up, and I could see this thing being a joy to drive all the time. Yeah, I don't have any complaints with it. I think it's going to be a pretty solid investment as far as how long it should last, and as long as it's taken care of, just regular maintenance, I think it's a good investment. Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.